My name is Randy Edmonds, and I'm from the Kiowa and Cattle Nations of Oklahoma. I've lived in California for over 65 years, and I'm considered an elder at age 86. The element that I'm using is sage, and this is provided to us by the Great Spirit to use as an element to bless certain kinds of conditions within our lives. So today I'm going to use that as a part of the blessing. So Aho Doki, thank you, Great Spirit, for this day that you've given us to come together to bless the event that is coming up for Scare, that it may be peaceful, it may be safe, it may be educational, it may be helpful to those that are participating in this event. Every year, Scare has many events that they present to the Indian community at large. They are responsible for many kinds of services throughout their organization, and they do present many different kinds of events for the Indian community. And so today I am blessing that event that is coming up, and that it may again be safe, that it will take care of the needs of our Indian people mentally and physically. And I want to bless also the staff that are the ones that take care of all these services that they provide to our Indian community. I want to also bless the board of directors, who are the founders of this organization, which has been a tremendous participant in Indian community events throughout Southern California, as well as the county of San Diego. They have done a wonderful job over the years. They continue to do so, and we ask the Great Spirit to bless them. Aho, Great Spirit, Aho Doki, Aho Scare, for all the things that you do for our people. Today we thank the Great Spirit for this beautiful day that you've given us to be here today, that we can bless this event and all those participants that are a part of this event. Aho Doki, thank you very much.
Hi everyone, welcome to our October harvest training. I am Andina Astenieto, one of the counselors at Scare. I'm so grateful to work in this community, and I so miss seeing everybody at Scare in person and being able to catch up and find out how everybody's doing. I've been working from home since the quarantine, so it's been about 7 months. I am missing the community. At the same time, I'm very grateful that I can continue to work with my clients on Zoom, and we can continue to do good work together and make progress. So thank you everybody for coming to our harvest training. I am lucky to be collaborating with our cultural educators, Kathy Wilcuts and Stephen Garcia, and one of our to-be coordinators, Julie DeFilippis, and they will be doing their part of the training after my introduction. I will be talking about Dia de los Muertos, since it is coming up this weekend, and a lot of people here in the San Diego area celebrate it, including myself and my family. I was very honored when Kathy and Stephen and Julie asked me to talk about Dia de los Muertos as an introduction today, because it's a very special holiday to me, and I have celebrated it in different ways for a long time, for most of my life. And this year, I will be going to my tia's house for a safe, small social distance celebration outside with masks and precautions. And we will be building an altar to honor my abuelo and my abuela and some of our other ancestors that have gone on to the spirit realm, and eating some traditional pan de muerto and traditional Mexican food. And I'm really looking forward to that. I believe that it is very important for us here in this realm to slow down and take time to honor our ancestors and the people that went through so much so we could be here today, and to honor all their resilience and strength that they passed down through the generations and wisdom. And we are standing on their shoulders. So I think it's important to thank them and honor them. And that's part of what I do during Dia de los Muertos. So thank you for joining today. I will go ahead and get started on the presentation. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen because I wanted to show y'all some photos of how much beauty and creativity and color and festiveness and deep respect and reverence goes into honoring our loved ones that have passed on through Dia de los Muertos. So here we have some girls that appear to be in a procession for Dia de los Muertos, and I thought this was a beautiful whole photo of them holding pineapples. All right, so I'm gonna go over a little bit of the history, y'all, so you can be familiar with how it started. So Day of the Dead celebrations in Mexico developed from ancient traditions practiced by indigenous Mesoamericans long before the arrival of Europeans. They celebrated the deaths of ancestors with two feasts, Miquelhuitl, Feast of the Dead, and Huey Miquelhuitl, Great Feast of the Dead. And here you see an artistic depiction of Miquelhuitl. So I am not sure which ancient Mesoamerican indigenous peoples celebrated Miquelhuitl, and I wanted to go ahead and just honor the different groups that lived there in ancient times. So I'm going to go ahead and read off their names. Olmec, Purépecha, Mixtec, Maya, Totonac, Aztec, Ixapa, Toltec, Zapotec, Teotihuacan, and Huaxtec. And here we have a painting of what I believe are Aztec people. So in my research for this presentation, I came across an article written by Curly Tlapoyawa, and you see him here on an archaeology dig. There he is. He's a Chicano, Nahua, Masewali archaeologist, filmmaker, and founder of the Chimali Institute of Mesoamerican Arts. So he talks about how nowadays a lot of people believe that these ancient traditions of Miquelhuitl and Huey Miquelhuitl were absorbed into Catholic traditions called All Hallowtide, All Saints Day, All Souls Day, under the direction of the Catholic Church. All of these different traditions honor the dead. Well, he goes on to clarify that a friar that came out to what is now known as the Americas here from Europe came and wrote about his observations of the indigenous people, and he revealed that these Mesoamerican feasts of Miquelhuitl and Miquelhuitl were not moved under the direction of Catholic priests, but they were hidden within the feasts of All Saints Day and All Souls Day by the indigenous people themselves. This subversive act of resistance was intended to fool the Catholic priests into thinking the Mesoamericans had indeed submitted to Christianity. So I thought that was a fascinating piece of history, that the indigenous people were staying connected to their ancestors, to their spirituality, and to each other through celebrating Miquelhuitl and Huey Miquelhuitl, but disguising it as if they were celebrating the Catholic holidays. So it's coming up this weekend, y'all. So November 1st is Dia de los Angelitos, and it is believed that on that day, children's spirits that have gone on to the spirit world come back to this realm to visit us and come to our homes. So people build altars to invite them to our homes to come and be amongst the people here in this living world for a day. And you see here a picture of a beautiful painting of a sculpture of a little angelito, a child that has passed on to the spirit world. And by the way, that means little angel. Here you see Dia de los Muertos altar, and here you see two women, one with her face painted in a cemetery, surrounded by flowers and candles, celebrating Dia de los Muertos. So November 2nd is Dia de los Muertos, and on that day, the tradition is for families to go to the cemetery to decorate the graves, the tombs of their dead relatives. And people also create altars in our homes so that we can invite the spirits back to visit us. But this one is for the grown-ups on November 2nd. And I'll talk more about altars in just a minute. So you cannot talk about Dia de los Muertos without talking about Mexican marigolds, also known as cempasúchil. So you see these beautiful, brilliant orange gold flowers anywhere that you see Dia de los Muertos celebrated. You'll find them on graves and tombs and cemeteries. You'll find them on altars. You'll find them decorating people's hair in processions. You'll find them in the Day of the Dead art. So you see them everywhere. It's a really important part of Day of the Dead. And the way to call them in Spanish is Flor de Muerto. And people believe that these beautiful bright petals and the strong scent of the flowers help to guide the souls from the spirit world and from the cemeteries to our homes to receive the offerings that I will talk about right now. So altars, also known as ofrendas, are created in our homes, and people place the favorite items of the loved ones that we are inviting back on the altars, along with marigolds, photos of our loved ones, art, and their favorite foods, drinks, desserts, sweets, cigarettes, alcohol, sodas, whatever they enjoyed and loved, including their vices, and sentimental and religious objects. So sometimes you'll see rosaries, crosses, you'll see candles. So lots of beautiful things are placed on these altars, and you see two examples here. Here is a depiction of an altar with mezcal and with sugar skulls, photos. Here's an actual photo of an altar that this person must have loved Jumex strawberry drink. And Bill Miller is a place in Texas, a barbecue place. Here's a cross, so this person was Catholic. So yeah, whatever the loved one enjoyed, you put them on the altar to welcome them. So traditional ways to build altars depend on the region. A lot of people use these sugar skulls that are decorated with this colorful sugar icing. And some communities frown upon using those. So it just really depends where you're at. You have to check out the traditions in the local area where you are. And these traditions can evolve and change over time. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So altars, ofrendas, often include photographs of the dead, like I mentioned, candles, copal, which is a type of incense that comes from tree sap from around the Mexico and Central America area. And you can put copal in a copal holder and burn it, and smoke comes out. So it's an incense and it smells beautiful. And it's considered to have spiritual cleansing properties. So people use them in ceremonies too. So also on the altar, you can put water to quench the thirst of the dead after their long trip from the spirit realm, a pinch of salt into a little container, which represents the continuance of life. So I also wanted to share some examples of ways that people decorate cemeteries in different regions in Mexico, and also that include one from Guatemala. So here we have a cemetery in Ciudad de Oaxaca, Mexico. And then here, this little red dot represents where Oaxaca is in Mexico. So you see that it's southeast of Mexico City. And here you see two men that are spending time honoring the spirits of their loved ones in the cemetery. You also see a couple of women in the background here. And people really went all out to decorate the graves with flowers and candles, and it's just so gorgeous. So here we have examples of the way that cemeteries are decorated in Pátzcuaro, Michoacán, Mexico. And you see the red thing here. That's because Michoacán is west of Mexico City. And here you see 3 women and 2 more women in the background. And they are also spending time with their loved ones in the cemetery. And again, people go all out. And this grave is just gorgeous. This is also in Pátzcuaro. So here is a really fascinating tradition that people engage in Santiago, Zacatepeques, and Zumpango, Guatemala. People celebrate Dia de los Muertos by flying huge kites to communicate with the dead and show them where to come down and visit their family members. So I thought that was really beautiful. Look at how the people, you can tell the average height of a person, and then look how big these kites are and how colorful. And so here on the map, you see the red dot of where these towns are that this tradition is practiced. And here you see one with the Virgen de Guadalupe, the Virgin of Guadalupe, on the kite flying. I would love to go to that event someday. It's really amazing. And I do believe they invite and welcome visitors from what I've heard. All right, so here we have an altar in Actopan, Hidalgo, Mexico. And you can see that Actopan is a little north of Mexico City here on the map. And it's a beautiful altar that somebody built with a depiction of a Day of the Dead skeleton in the background with flowers. And you can see they put fruit, bread, bananas, flowers, bowls of different snacks, and of course a lot of marigolds, flor de muerto. So here is closer to home. There is a market called Mercado Hidalgo, which means Hidalgo Market. And it's right here in Tijuana across the border. And apparently they celebrate Day of the Dead by building these beautiful, huge altars around the market. And they sell everything you can imagine for celebrations and for altar decorating and cemetery decorating. So I have not been to Mercado Hidalgo yet, but I would love to go. And I wanted to include a little bit about a tradition in Haiti, because it's fascinating that it has parallels to Dia de los Muertos. So it's called Fête Guide, and I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, Festival of the Dead, and it's celebrated during the entire month of November in Haiti. So you've probably heard of voodoo, and it is actually a spiritual practice that started in West Africa thousands of years ago. So Haitians were enslaved under French rule before 1804, and Catholic traditions were imposed on them. They would secretly practice voodoo rituals disguised as Catholic customs so they could stay connected to their ancestors and homeland. Sound familiar, right? So today, many Haitians believe that voodoo played a big role in the success of the revolt that the enslaved Haitians staged against French rulers in the late 1700s that resulted in their independence. And by the way, this is the most successful revolt by enslaved people ever known in human history that happened in Haiti. And here is a Fête Guide altar, and you can see there are some parallels to the Dia de los Muertos altars with fruit and different bottles of favorite drinks, decorations, flowers, skulls. Here's a Fête Guide ceremony with some women dancing in Haiti. And here, another Fête Guide altar with a beautiful background of art. All right, so let's take a moment to think about our own loved ones. So if you were going to create an altar for Dia de los Muertos, who would you honor? What would you place on the altar? I'll give us all a moment to just reflect and think about that. And I'll go ahead and share that I have had a lot of family and loved ones move on to the spirit realm. So I would honor a lot of people, including my abuelo and abuela, my grandma and grandpa, my tío Nacho, my great uncle Nacho, my beautiful best friend Rox, my cousin Colin. So I would have a really big altar. I would honor a lot of different people that I love dearly and still think about all of the time. All right, so traditional food, the most important part of the whole presentation. No, I'm just kidding. But we love food, right? Especially at Scare. So here we have some pictures of traditional Day of the Dead foods. You see some tamales, a concha, which is a kind of Mexican pastry. Over here you see some tortillas, tamales again, rice, beans in the background, meat. So tamales, they are a traditional Mesoamerican dish made of corn-based masa, which is also known as dough in English, wrapped in corn husks or banana leaves and filled with meats, cheeses, vegetables, chilies, fruits, pretty much anything you want. You can put all different kinds of options into fillings. I personally love bean and jalapeno and vegetable tamales. Pan de Muerto, it is Day of the Dead bread. It is a sweet roll shaped like a bun, topped with sugar, and you can get creative. Here you see one that somebody made a little skull out of the dough, which is really cool. And here you see somebody put icing on with different designs. Someone put crosses that look like it's made out of maybe like pink powdered sugar. So lots of options. Here we have the sugar skulls, the Calaveras. They display colorful designs to represent the individual personalities of the departed. So I put some photos of examples here. These are very traditional. I see these all the time when I'm traveling in Mexico. Here we have some that are covered in chocolate. Traditional drinks. Pulque, or the favorite alcoholic beverages of ancestors that are in the spirit realm. Here I found online a photo of Pedro Infante, which is a very famous Mexican singer. And somebody created an altar for him with a little motorcycle and flowers and tequila and a candle and articles about him. And here we have pulque, which is a famous alcoholic drink in Mexico. Atole and champurrado, warm, thick, non-alcoholic masa drinks. So they're also made out of corn masa. And this one is atole. It's a corn warm drink. And this one's champurrado. Agua de Jamaica, you've probably seen this at like taco shops around San Diego. I love it. It's made out of the flowers and leaves of hibiscus plant, and you can put sugar. Somebody who created these agua de Jamaica syrups, it's hard to read here, but they put hibiscus, ginger, orange, and cinnamon. So there's different options of what you can put in it and mix it with water, and I think it's delicious. You can make it real sweet or not as sweet. I also wanted to include about Danza Azteca because you will see Aztec dancers at some Dia de los Muertos celebrations. So here are 3 women Aztec dancers. And for those of us that live here in San Diego, you can see Aztec dancers at some of the Chicano Park events. And I know a lot of us are missing these big events. I know I am at Chicano Park, and hopefully after we get a vaccine and everything, we can get together and check out some more Danza Azteca. So I wanted y'all to know about José Guadalupe Posada. He is a famous artist in Mexico. You may have seen these images before. You will see them around. He created a lot of different depictions of skeletons engaging in different activities. This one here is probably the most famous Day of the Dead art, traditional art in the history of the world. Her name is La Catrina. And the artist, Posada, was depicting native people that would dress like European people that lived in Mexico at the time. So that's what La Catrina is representing. Unfortunately, this artist ended up dying in ambiguity and basically alone and forgotten. And after he died is when his art really became a lot more popular and famous. You will see Day of the Dead tiles for sale depicting skeletons engaging in different activities, and often people will buy these as gifts for people that they feel appropriate to. So if I had a relative that played music, I would probably buy them this tile of this trio of Mexican skeletons playing music. So nicho, shadow boxes, also a very popular form of Day of the Dead art. They are little dioramas that depict skeletons engaging in different activities. Here you see two skeletons sitting in a graveyard together. Here you see one playing guitar and another one playing what I think looks like a flute with an altar. You'll also see silly ones. This one depicts Elvis, and it says Elvis has left the building, and it has Elvis playing guitar. And then I wanted to put this little do-it-yourself nicho box because you can create these on your own to honor your loved ones that have passed on. And so here's one that somebody made at home out of a little, mint box. What are those mints called? Altoids or whatever. And they put glitter and a photo and different flowers in there. So I wanted to also give us a moment to think, what are some parallels between Dia de los Muertos and traditions in your tribe or in your culture? One of the things I love about learning about different cultures is finding the parallels between them. So I'm imagining that some of us have been able to come up with some parallels, including decorating graves and creating altars. I don't know if y'all have seen the movie Coco, and it's really, really famous movie that came out a few years ago, and it's about a young Mexican boy and his journey. And I won't say more than that. And it's very centered around the Dia de los Muertos tradition. I really highly recommend this movie. It's really beautiful, and it's a great way to learn more about this holiday. Kids love it, especially little Latin kids that, love to see themselves represented in film. And I just love this movie so much. So does my whole family. Also, no matter what group a kid is from, this movie can help kids think about what it means to go to the spirit world, or think about what are their beliefs about afterlife. So it's a great conversation starter movie too. And it can help kids that are grieving and adults. It can help us with thinking about life and death and in a different way, and in celebrating the lives of our loved ones and being grateful for them. So I wanted to also share a little bit about ways to be respectful of this tradition. And you'll notice I wrote Latin with an E, Latine. That is a way of saying Latino or Latinx. It's a different way of saying it without it being gendered. So Latino is masculine, Latina is feminine. A lot of people are now starting to use the word Latin. so that we don't have to create the masculine feminine aspect in naming this group of people. So Latin people ask that people not dress up as Dia de los Muertos skeletons for Halloween, because Halloween is not the same as Day of the Dead, and some people consider it disrespectful to dress up as Day of the Dead skeletons. That non-Latin people not commodify Dia de los Muertos designs to make a profit. So if you are not part of a group that traditionally celebrates this holiday, don't take the art and put it onto a purse or a shirt and then sell it. If you are going to visit Latin cemeteries for Dia de los Muertos, please make sure you choose one that welcomes visitors, because you can imagine there are some people that want to celebrate intimately with their communities and not have onlookers and visitors come. So you want to be careful about that. And I will wrap up by talking about some of the ways that you can celebrate here in the San Diego area. So every year, Sherman Heights Community Center has an amazing display of altars, and then a procession from the community center to Chicano Park. And then there's a bunch of more amazing altars at Chicano Park. I've been to it and I love it. This year, because of quarantine, they're doing online workshops, which is really fun, something you could do with your kiddos. So they have different Day of the Dead crafts that you can do, including making flower crowns and nichos that I was talking about, the little boxes. So you see here a lot of different options. Most years they have something called the Barrio Art Crawl in Logan, where they sell a lot of different Dia de los Muertos, you know, art and decorations and things. I don't think they're doing it this year because of quarantine, but I wasn't able to confirm that. And here you see a photo of the procession I just mentioned, the Sherman Heights Day of the Dead procession. And a lot of the people living in the homes around Sherman Heights create altars in front of their houses. So it's awesome to walk around over there. You could do that this weekend. I'm guessing a lot of people will still do this because it still respects social distancing. I'm pretty sure they are. You can go walk around in Sherman and just see people's altars that they've built on their porches, which is a really neat way to celebrate. So I will close out by thanking you all for wanting to learn about Dia de los Muertos. And you're lucky because I'm going to be passing it over to Kathy, Stephen, and Julie for their part of talking about grief and ways to honor our loved ones. Thank you again. I hope you have a beautiful day.
Welcome to the Grief and Healing Circle workshop class. We're here today to present this workshop. My name is Kathy Wilcutts. I'm the Tupi cultural educator. I'm Lakota from the Cheyenne River Reservation in South Dakota, and my father's from the Rosebud Reservation.
I'm Stephen Garcia, Wamble Ishta Hapisapa, the Black Star-Eyed Eagle. I'm from the Tongva Nation, Mescalero Apache and Yaqui Nation from my grandmother's side on my father's side. And I am the resident flute player, artist, spiritual guy.
Did you say your tribe? Do you want to do it again?
My name is Julie DeFilippi. I work for SCARE. I'm the Tupi Youth Coordinator. I am part Aleut Native on my mom's side and Italian for my dad's side.
So we'd like to go ahead and open up the circle with a prayer. So we just ask Creator to guide our thoughts, guide our words, guide our actions, guide our needs, help us help ourselves, help us help others. And we ask Creator to place your wisdom in this circle and in this class. And we also invite our ancestors to come in and be here with us now. We thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and sit down and begin. First, we're going to start with a meditation. And for those of you who haven't meditated before, I'll go ahead and guide you. You're welcome to pick up a crystal or anything that you feel that will give you energy while you meditate. So I'm holding my eagle feathers. Julie, would you like to pick up a crystal?
I'm holding my Wamble Gleshka, my spotted eagle, Nukashan will be the white-headed eagle when it's time. A golden eagle feather, a condor feather, and I always keep with me a small crystal skull that was given to me. And it's a quartz crystal, but it has seen a lot and been through a lot, and it holds a lot of information for myself. And moments like this, my connection to the other side. Oh,
I'm gonna go ahead and grab this rose quartz. This one came from the Black Hills in South Dakota, so I'm gonna hold that. It comes from our sacred lands. So now we're gonna go ahead and start. I'll guide you through this meditation. So you wanna sit in a chair with your feet flat on the ground, your back straight, and you can put your hands in your lap. If you can face them upward. When we face them up, we're receiving. So we're opening our hands to receive. So I want you to go ahead and take a few deep breaths, at least 4 deep breaths, in through your nose and out of your mouth. So we'll go ahead and start. Go ahead and continue to breathe in a relaxed state, in through your nose and out of your mouth as we go through this meditation. I want you to visualize yourself sitting in your chair, holding your crystal, your feathers, or whatever medicines you have from your tribes, from your home, from your families. And I want you to visualize in your mind a dirt path in front of you. And we're all barefoot in this meditation. So I want you to go ahead and stand up and put your feet on this dirt path and feel the coolness of the earth under your feet. And go ahead and start walking on this path. And along this path, you're going to see tall grasses, you're going to see beautiful flowers, and just enjoy walking in a relaxed state until you see a forest, and you can hear the birds singing, you can see little animals going about their day. And I want you to just go ahead and walk into this forest, knowing you're protected and safe. And in the middle of this forest, you see a log that's laying down. And you go ahead and sit on this log. And this log, it looks like it is a cedar tree. So you want to go ahead and sit on the cedar tree, absorbing its medicine that it gives to us. Feeling the wind through the trees, feeling the wind against your face. And I want you to just focus on your body, focus on your breath. And just take a minute to sit here and think about your ancestors. Think about who they may be, think about the long line of ancestors that you come from, and know that your ancestors' lineage lives inside of you. And as we sit on this cedar tree, we're being awakened, we're being aware of that knowledge, of that fact. So everything that our ancestors learned through each generation is encoded in our DNA, and we have access to that. So knowing that, we pull that information into our body, into all our cells, into our mind, body, and spirit, and just know that we have access to that knowledge and that wisdom, to those spiritual ways, to that tribal wisdom, always. So I just want to be quiet for a few minutes so we can sit here and we can all see what comes into our thoughts, into our feelings, into our emotions, and just really enjoying being connected to the earth and the trees and the forest. So just take a moment here to be silent. As you sit here, I just want to remind you to set your intentions, say your prayers, open your heart, listen with your heart, be centered, be grounded, ask for balance in your mind, body, and spirit. Ask your ancestors to guide your life. In my tribe, we have spirit helpers, so we call in our spirit helpers to guide us, to protect us. We can go in at a meditation and just really be vulnerable with our feelings, with our emotions, releasing anything that does not serve us. Releasing negative emotions, negative feelings, and feel them leave your body, going out of your feet, out of your hands, like dark smoke. Just see that energy leaving your body now, and seeing the forest absorb it and cleansing it and clearing it. And breathe in this fresh, beautiful energy from the forest. Breathe in the cedar. You can smell the cedar, how good it smells. And just as you sit here, you get lighter and lighter. And we ask Creator to illuminate our mind so that we can see the wisdom that we hold inside of us. And we visualize ourselves putting our hands on the cedar tree that we're sitting on, and just letting go of all of our burdens that we may carry, seeing them being just disappearing into thin air. We can take this time to thank the forest for this healing, thank Mother Earth, thank Father Sky, thank Creator, and thank ourselves for taking this time for self-care, to check in with our spirit, check in with our mind, check in with our heart, check in with our body, check in with our emotions and our feelings. And I want you to go ahead and put your hands out in front of you and just close your eyes and keep your eyes closed and see what you see in your hands. Like, what gift is there? It could be a feeling, it could be a word, it could be an object, it could be anything. So we just ask to receive a gift today in our in this meditation. And if you see any animals, thank them for coming into your meditation. And if you saw any of your ancestors, thank them for touching in with you. And we're going to go ahead and start to get back up off this cedar tree. I want you to take a nice, big, deep breath once again, absorbing all this energy in this forest, the smell of the trees, the wind, the earth, that sweet smell of the earth. And go ahead and get back up. And I want you to start walking back out of the forest on this dirt path, feeling the earth under your bare feet. And I want you to go ahead and keep walking until you get back to your chair. And I want you to go ahead and slowly come out of this meditation by moving your fingers, moving your toes. You can start stretching a little bit. You can stretch your arms. And I want you to slowly move your body and then slowly open your eyes when you're ready. this is a time we can talk about our meditation. So if Julie or Stephen would like to share.
Ladies first.
I always love your meditations,
Thank you.
and this is a special time of the year right now. And this meditation, I sat there and it felt really good because I felt a lot of love in my heart, just thinking about my both my grandmothers on my mom's side and my dad's side. I didn't get to meet my grandmother on my mom's side, but we had lots of conversations when I was a little girl on Sundays. And she used to send this great smoked salmon from Alaska. She had her own smokehouse in the back of the house. And every year she'd send us some around Christmas. And so I just kind of felt her presence. And then my other grandma on my dad's side, she was a great, wonderful cook. She was funny. And she made the best pasta. And this one, I don't know why this one memory popped in when I was in the meditation, was we used to sneak in her bedroom and eat the pasta raw because she had them rolled on the mattress, and she'd always get mad at us and scurry with her apron, telling us to get out of the bedroom, they're not ready yet. And my dad would always take us in there and we'd eat a couple and just, so it was a lot of good, it was really good, it was good memories. I just love it so much.
Nice.
It was nice, thank you.
Yeah, you're
Oh my
welcome.
gosh.
Thank you for sharing. Stephen.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. Pretty interesting, and you know, when you said to walk out there in the forest, and actually was walking in the forest and could feel the dirt under my feet, which is strange. Today's the first day I wore shoes in a long time. Always wearing slippers so I can kick them off. But when I went out there and you said they were going to hand you a gift, or to open your hands to receive a gift, you know, on the way out there, all my ancestors were around. There were village sites, and then, you know, it was really, really cool to see that on both sides. And when somebody gave me a gift, they handed me a basket. And I automatically looked in the basket to see what was in the basket. But there was nothing in the basket. And the gift was, and as you were talking about the animals, the basket had all the animals woven into it. And the snake at the bottom, which is to detour rodents and stuff from trying to get into a basket and eat all acorns or whatever's in the basket. But when I looked in the basket, and I was like, oh, and then I said, is the gift the basket? Because I thought, well, maybe they were just handing me something and then they were going to keep the basket. They said, no, the gift is the basket, and you are the basket. But the gift is, what are you going to put in your basket? Meaning you're the vessel. And what are you going to take out of your life to put into the basket? So make sure you choose wisely and good thoughts to put in this basket. I thought, wow, that was very enlightening and very powerful. And didn't expect that. You know, here I was looking to see what's the gift. The gift is what you make of it. So, fun. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Mm.
Julie, did you receive a gift? Did you see something?
It was more a feeling, my heart was
okay.
full of
Good.
love and just
Raw pasta.
memories and
Nice.
raw pasta.
That was the gift.
Yes.
Grandma with the raw pasta.
Yes, definitely.
For myself, like I really could feel that cedar tree, and I can smell the aroma coming from the cedar tree. It was so nice to just inhale that medicine, you know, straight out of the forest. And, you know, I feel like the gift for me was just that living medicine. So for me, like a forest is alive, and you know, we use our sacred medicines to burn, but I really feel like it's even more powerful when it's alive, you know. And even though we were sitting on that cedar tree, it still was giving us medicine, you know, because it's cedar, whether it's standing up and alive, or we're burning cedar, or if we're sitting on cedar, or if you're playing a cedar flute. So, you know, that was the wisdom that came in. And also, I saw a lot of people behind me, and I'm not sure if these were ancestors that were from that forest, but it was a lot of like women all standing beside each other, kind of peeking, like they were watching us.
Yeah.
It was really a sweet vision to see that. So I don't know if those were my ancestors or if those were just people that were from that forest. So, yeah.
I like the way the sound of the door of them coming in as you were talking about that. And
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
You're talking about cedar, and you painted cedar for that
Yes.
exhibit at the
Yes.
fence.
Yeah, so cedar's coming in this year, big time. So I'm happy that we all had a nice meditation, and
Yeah, that was good.
and I hope that the people that are watching this video have a nice meditation, and maybe they could share it with us one day, because they're very special. You know, they really are special. Every time we go to a meditation, we don't know what's gonna come of it.
Yeah.
So it's always a gift, for sure. So at this time, what we do after our meditation is we'll pick a flower and we'll talk about somebody that we'd like to honor this through this grieving workshop. And then we place it on our altar that we have for people that have passed away, and we keep it up and honor that person or that family or whoever you have that's on your mind and you're grieving, because this workshop is about grieving. So we do deal with feelings, heavy feelings, sadness, loneliness, you know, things come up, and that's okay, because that's what grieving is for. In my tribe, the Lakota, we have 1 year to grieve a family member. So what we do is we keep their spirit for a year, and in that meantime, we're sewing blankets, star quilts, we're gathering gifts, and after exactly 1 year, we have a big feast, and then we give all these gifts in memory of that person. So we'll give out, you know, blankets, just everything you can think of, beadwork, clothing, like whatever, moccasins, you know, just anything that the family wants to give in memory of that person. So that's a tradition that we have. Julie, do you have one?
I don't personally have a tradition as to say yet. I'm working on that. Every year I'm working on that. I'm part Aleut, and I am trying to find the history of how we acknowledge our ancestors and how we honor them. It's very scarce because our tribes were taken back in the 1800s by the Russians, I want to say. And so it's very hard to find stuff. But I did find out that every winter the tribes go out and they have these big old, they do the dancing and the singing in honor of the ancestors that passed. And they wear the masks, and so they dance.
Nice.
So that is how much I do know of this right
That's a
now.
lot. Great, thank you. Stephen?
Yeah, I know with the California, most tribes, when somebody passes, you know, they take most of their belongings, if not all their belongings, and they do a burning. And this is, a lot of people say, why don't they just give it away? Well, this is to keep the peace among the people, so nobody's fighting over objects, because they're just objects, and the person wouldn't want them to do that. And this is why, in our time, while we're alive, we like to give our things to see the expression on our relatives' faces, rather than when we pass away. And I guess this is why, because when we pass away, they take everything and either buried it or burned it and broke it so it'll go along with you on your journey. And so in our time, we gift the people around us these things that we make or that we obtain or are given. And so, you know, with our people, the grieving process is, you know, and being also adopted into the Lakota people, the Oglala people, my Hunka Oyate, we take that year of not, that whole year is for grieving before you wipe the tears. And you don't go to gatherings, you don't sing and dance or drum, but at the end of that year, now you're allowed to do that again. And so like, with my uncle and my sister passing just recently from the COVID, I think it's a trip that all the powwows were canceled. So it's like, even though they tell me, oh, don't stop dancing when I pass away. A lot of my relatives tell me, don't stop doing your thing when I pass away. These are different times. Creator has a way of going, no, everybody's gonna stop dancing for at least a year or so. The whole world is grieving right now, so yeah, we're supposed to stay upbeat and we're supposed to stay happy, but it's, you know, it's also a time of, you know, mourning or grieving, and so we do a little bit of both. You know, we have to walk in both worlds. We have to walk in this time and our traditions too. So, thank you.
Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and take a flower and honor somebody that we're grieving. We can share a little story about them, and we'll place it on the altar. So
I'm gonna pick this one for my aunt Barbara. I miss her so much, and she came to me too as well briefly in there. I just remember going to her house and the big dinners, and my uncle played the accordion, and a lot of food on the table, and helping out in the kitchen, and I love her so much, my Aunt Barbara.
thank you, Julie. And if you have more than one person, you can also honor them as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I have many relatives that have passed within the years. You know, I couldn't bring all the pictures up here to cover that whole table. The most recent ones, you know, I always, when it comes to this time, I always say goodbye to my grandmothers and my father and grandpa. One grandpa I never even got to meet. The other grandpa, only briefly, I got to know him. But, you know, my uncles, I have uncles that have passed, 3 of them now. But the most recent, my Uncle Bill, just passed away. He was from Vegas. They said it was COVID that got him. And then just on Father's Day, my sister Alita, who's only a year older than me, so she would have been 61. She was the twin to my brother Gary. And, so this flower, the green one's for Uncle Willie. This pink one's for Alita because I think she's actually wearing pink in her picture up there. She was such a beautiful person. My dad always called her Moonbeam because she glowed. And I said maybe that was a Scorpio thing because she was Scorpio too. I said we're nocturnal beings. She was a night person too. And all the way in Texas, so we didn't get a chance because of this COVID thing to go have any kind of closure that way in the funeral or anything. Only her daughter and her husband and grandson were there, I think. That's a hard one, because I was hoping to see her again soon. And it's inevitable, every day is a blessing, every day is a gift. Because you never know when your next day is going to the stars. So there's a few new stars up there in the universe and they're shining bright. So I want to thank my relatives for that short amount of time that we got to spend together. And well, we had a wild childhood, 6 kids, 3 of them Scorpios, 2 Cancers and a Pisces, so we were all water signs, so it was really good. We'd all flowed together, And my mom's a strong person to deal with not only the death of her spouse, my father, and then her father a month later. As they say, you're not supposed to outlive your kids, And so I pray every day for the strength of my mother. She's coming up on 88 years old this next month, and I'll be 60 right before she turns 88. So these are for Uncle Bill and Alita. Open up to them.
So, yesterday was the anniversary of my mom's passing. She died in 1996, and I was 25 years old. And half my life now, I've lived it without her. And my first daughter, Cheyenne, was a year and a half when my mom passed away. So it's been tough, having a child and not having a mother to go to or a grandmother for our daughters. So it's been hard, and I feel that empty space of her absence, in my life. And also my father, I'm going to take one for my father as well. He died a few years after she did. Both died while I was in my 20s. So, you're a young adult and you look to your parents for wisdom, and when they're not there, it is hard, and I can feel it, I can still feel the sadness. Sometimes I feel like grieving, even though like my tribe, we are only supposed to grieve 1 year and let it go. Like you still feel that sadness and you still feel that loneliness and that emptiness. And, I don't know. I don't know why in my lifetime it is that way, but it is. And I do feel that, my family, Stephen and the girls, they've really helped me get through my life. Like if it wasn't for them, I don't know how I would deal with it, because growing up also, I had 5 of my closest relatives die year after year. So it started with an aunt, then an uncle, then my grandmother, then my mother, then my father, and then my uncle a few years after that. So like the closest people to me, like just one after another passed away. And it's almost like creators you know, like going, okay, you know, here's your life. What are you gonna do with it? You know, how are you gonna figure it out? Because the people I look up to were not there. So, you know, meditation helps me. And I think that's why I love meditation so much. It just brings me that peace that I feel, and able to touch in with my relatives that way. So I want to honor both my mom and dad and put these on the altar for them. Thank you.
I always found it interesting, the connection. It was a while later after I told Kat, I said, do you realize before I met you, when my dad passed away, he passed away at 55 years old, and I was 25. And her mom, when she passed away, she was 55, and Kat was 25. I said, it's one of those hard connections I wish we didn't have, but I know why we had it, you know? And it's, yeah, as you say, when you're younger and that's the person like you look up to, you know. For the longest time, I'd go over to my mom's and go into the garage and I'd want to show my dad something. Hey, Dad. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. You know, it's that type of feeling, or you know. But like you said, they're around. You know, when you go into meditation and such, you can feel them. Yeah. Time is time, and time does what time does.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you to Julie and to Stephen, and for us to be able to have this circle. This is our first class since March. So it's been some time since we've held a class. And it feels good to do it in person, you know, and it feels good to sit and meditate together. So what I'd like to do to end this part is we always uplift the circle by pulling a couple cards to help us with our daily lives. So we'll go ahead and do that. So this is the healthy body cards, and we usually pick one and we share it with the group, because the card is for all of us. Because we are a group, we have it individually, and it's also for the three of us.
It's a Groupon. Hey.
So,
And the winner is?
so Julie, you can go ahead.
I love my heart. And it's funny that I pulled that out because I got a lot of love from meditation. Heart, love, and a warm feeling. I am the joy of life, expressing and receiving. Joyous new ideas circulate freely within my heart.
That was perfect. Steven,
I love my glasses and I don't know where they're at.
do you want one of us to read it for you?
Are those them right there? Did you take my glasses? Right in front of you. Those are yours?
There you go.
They're just readers, but
Okay.
I need them. My arms aren't as long as they used to be. It says, I love my throat. I do too. I was looking at it when I was shaving the other day. So, oh, it's pretty nice still. It's not all waddly. Hey, I love my throat because my music comes out. My throat is my avenue of expression and creativity. I sing with great joy. Wow, that's cool, because yesterday in my car I put on some powwow tunes, grabbed my drumstick, and my dashboard became the drum. And I was singing away too. And I'm usually not singing at the drum, I'm usually dancing. But it felt good, and I'm pretty sure the people in the car next to me were surprised because they couldn't figure out what I was singing. Yeah. Awesome, awesome.
Thank you. Okay, mine says, I love my nerves. My nerves enable me to communicate with all of life. I choose the thoughts that bring me peace. I allow my nerves to relax me peacefully.
This is good.
Which is interesting that I received this card because I was talking about how I love meditation, and meditation is good for your nerves.
That's cool.
Okay.
It's like the other day when you said I was on your last nerve. No, she never says that.
Okay, Julie?
Now it is a little hard to read. Reading the power of your word. Your word is your power that you have to create. It is a gift that comes directly from God. Strong.
Nice. That is nice. Okay. Always do your best. Love and nurture your body. Boy, is that apropos for right now. Torn back muscle, but it's healing every day, every minute, every hour faster. Our body is a manifestation of the Creator. And if you honor your body, everything will change for you. Practice giving love to every part of your body. This will plant seeds of love in your mind, and when they grow, you will love, honor, and respect your body immensely. This is true. As we say, what we put in, what we get out.
Mine says, don't make assumptions, relinquish the need to change others. Real love is accepting other people the way they are without trying to change them. If we try to change them, this means that we don't really like them. It is easier to find someone who is already the way you want him or her to be instead of trying to change that person. So that's good advice.
That's cool.
Yes. Okay, so that concludes this circle. And thank you for joining this meditation and this talking circle and this healing circle. So how we're going to end this part is we're going to go ahead and lift all what we put in this circle, and the saying let go and let God. So we're going to just lift all this up and give it to Creator and just say thank you.
Thank you.
And then just let it go.
Hello. It's a beautiful day today. Every day is a beautiful day because every day is a gift. As I said before, you don't know when your journey comes. Nobody knows when their time is, really. And to all my relatives here, out of respect, all around the world people do this. In different cultures they have different ways of paying their respects to the people who have made their journey in this way. And as well as the land we're standing on, the Kumeyaay, they do the same as our coastal natives, as well as with my father's side, the Tongva. Up and down the coast and in California, November 2nd into the days, they do the blessings and the candle lighting and the feasting for their relatives. In this way we always remember our relatives. In the old ways we never really spoke the names of the relatives, and as Grandpa told me, traditions are traditions and times change too, and so there's always new traditions, new visions, and so we keep one foot in the past and one foot in the future, and we keep ourselves now. And so that being that we are here now, I want to say thank you to my relatives for the time shared, for the instillment of their ways and their thoughts and their being into us. I carry my father's ways and my father's thoughts, and my sister Alita Moonbeam, and my grandmother's, and even Kathy's mother. I learned a lot from her in the short time that I got to know her. And so this is for everybody, for the past ancestors, for the people now, and for the future generations that we don't even get to meet, but they're a part of us. So thank you. Thank you. Okda. Tehovet. Yecha.
So we're going to be doing 2 activities today, and one is going to be Mod Podge skull with fabric that you're going to be given. The skull which is made out of paper mache and glue and a brush, and it's really fun. So along with this, you're going to be given 25 pieces of multicolored fabric, and you're more than welcome. So as you see right here, I have one that's almost already done. I just have to complete the center around the eyes. But if you see that, I just took the squares as is and glued them all around, just like that. Now you can take these squares and you can cut them smaller. There's no wrong or right way to do this craft. It's really fun. I love this craft. And so if you guys want, you got your Mod Podge glue in your containers and your paintbrushes. And like I said, have fun with this. There's no wrong or right way to do this. You can cut them smaller. You can even cut them in hearts, triangles, circles, any way you want to do this.
Okay.
So that's the craft that you are all going to have when you take part in this workshop. And it's really fun. I like getting together with the girls. Anything when you're getting together with the family, I think that's the best time, because you're spending time together.
Yes, we're making memories, right?
Yes, creating memories. And I remember a lot of that when I was growing up, was playing games with my family, eating dinner with my family every night. I mean, we don't do that anymore in the way the world is today.
Mm-hmm.
But crafts are awesome, cause they bring the family together. And that's what it's all about. So like, so let me let you know. I'm already starting this craft, you guys, and I'm not even letting you know how to do this. So you're gonna just, you don't have to put a lot on, just a nice thin layer of Mod Podge, and pick any fabric you want, and just place it over. It doesn't have to be perfect. This Mod Podge is gonna dry clear. So as you can see, and I used a lot on this skull right here, and you don't have to worry about clumping or showing any type of white glue on the end, even though it doesn't now, believe me, it's all gonna dry clear.
So it's best to start at the top, correct?
And you know, again, you can start anywhere you want.
Oh,
I
okay.
just chose the top, cause I guess I just wanted to get right on top
From the
of
bottom,
right
work
on
your way up.
right to the bottom of it, yes. Ha ha. So,
Okay.
and I like this craft, and in this craft, which is really cool, it doesn't have to be a skull. And you can go to any craft store, and you can they have masks you can do with this. They have even characters. You can do wood. You can do a picture frame and get wood and decorate with Mod Podge, and then put your favorite family member in there. Or if somebody had passed away, because we're kind of honoring our ancestors right now, you can go out to the fabric store and get native print, which I love. And you can go ahead and decorate a picture frame and put your loved one in there and put it on your altar, or in your bedroom, or in your house, in a special place. It's really fun.
Doing arts is very relaxing too.
Very relaxing.
Yeah.
We do a lot of art because, and with Tupi, we do a lot of art crafts with the kids.
We creative natives.
Yes, creative natives, I like that one. But I like it too because the kids get off their phones
Yes.
and they're using their imagination, and they end up having a lot of fun
Yes.
in the end. It's fun watching them paint or Mod Podge or whatever that activity may be at the time that we're doing it. We've done quite a few in the past. I can't remember them all, but
It would be interesting to see all the different ones we've done in the past 7 years.
Oh my
doing
goodness.
a lot.
Yeah.
And another thing you can do with these masks, which I'm gonna go and buy some of these myself and do some at home. But you can do dried flowers as a
Yeah.
crown
Mm.
along the forehead. You can put dried flowers as the forehead. You can do that too. There's a lot of things you can do. It's endless. So I love this. I hope you guys do too. It's just I love spending
Oh,
time
yeah.
with family and friends and sitting down together and
Cause we cannot get along, Holmes.
all
Look.
get along. Our comedian Steven over here. And use a paper plate on the bottom, because the glue is sticky and a little messy. Have fun with it. It'll wash off your clothes, so don't worry about it if you get it on your clothes or on the
When we're all finished,
tablecloth.
we put another layer of the Mod Podge over it.
I do
Okay.
as I go along, because I'm already doing that as we speak. I'm
okay.
I'm layering it on thick, because
Okay.
like I said, you're not gonna worry about it. It's gonna dry clear, trust me.
Okay.
And have fun with it. Take your time. Don't feel like it's a race to see who's the fastest. I mean, you can do so much with this fabric and the colors. So take your time and really make it unique, your own. And it's a lot of fun.
And you can also save them, put them away for next year.
That's right.
And just build on your collection for your altar.
Oh yeah, yes. Definitely. So this is one of the 2 activities that we have with this workshop. Yeah, there's so many ideas. I mean, so many different fabrics out there.
Mm-hmm.
It's endless.
I like that these are all different.
Yeah, the patches.
Yeah.
Like patchwork.
Yeah.
It's Apache. Still being recorded.
Doing all that. I took one home with me and I was practicing on it, and my daughter even said you can go get buttons or rhinestones for the eyes.
Oh,
Right
yeah.
here, you can do that. I mean, it really is, you can do so much. They even have twinkle lights that are mini. You
Oh,
could,
cool.
you
Put 'em
could
in
put
the
those on there
rhinestones.
too as well. I mean, use your imagination. There's so much to do. I mean, it's really fun. And I might personally, personally do one for each relative that I've known in the past,
Mm-hmm.
and put like their favorite colors on it.
That's cool.
Just
That's a great idea.
just really like, you've got memories. I mean, you can put pictures on it. I mean, I think you could. I don't think that's a bad thing. Put
Mhm.
pictures of them or a family picture on there, Mod Podge it on there. I mean, just, it's endless. Glitter, rhinestones, I mean, there's so much you can do. It's crazy.
Like a rhinestones, go ahead. Yeah, rhinestones, I've seen some rhinestone skulls that just blew my mind.
Oh, I bet.
Or you could sit there and do like, what is that, huachols, the way they do the beadwork? And each bead is sideways. It's like they glue the beads sideways.
Oh, wow.
I saw a whole VW done up like that.
Oh, wow. That's wild.
That took a long
I
time.
couldn't imagine.
I'm like, dude.
Mhm.
I couldn't imagine.
I remember we did the full face masks at the Ballard Center that one time.
Yes.
Yeah, we have them now.
We had the masks.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes, and I should have brought a mask with me, but I did not. And I think when you do watch this video, we did show you the altar, and there is a mask on there that you'll see that we did Mod Podge work with, because we did do masks one year with this. It's always a lot of fun. So will it be okay if I start a flower while you guys
Yeah,
continue to do the
definitely.
masks?
Definitely.
Because we do have 2 activities, and I wanna fit this in so you guys can,
Okay.
follow through. We will be putting instructions in your packet, so you guys will, know how to do this. These were gonna be paper mache, sorry, not paper mache, excuse me, tissue paper flowers. And during the time of the Day of the Dead, they do the marigolds, and they do them in tissue paper, with tissue paper. Cause that's the flower they, do to welcome their ancestors on their graves. And other places too, in home, and on altars as well. So, I have here the tissue paper, and I selected 2 different colors, multi. I have 6 pieces in all. So you're just gonna, and they don't have to be perfect, they can even be half the size, they don't have to be this big, they can even be bigger. You can do so much, you can YouTube this, it's very easy and fun to do. So we're gonna lay them all on top of each other, and we're gonna start folding like that. We're just gonna do a fold, and then we're gonna flip it and do an equal fold. And you're gonna repeat this all the way to the end of your tissue paper. And it doesn't have to be perfect, trust me, because once this comes together, it's gonna be a beautiful flower. So it's like an accordion, you're gonna go all the way through. And I like tissue paper flowers because when you're making like gifts, or if you're giving a gift away to somebody, you can make a paper mache flower and put it on their present. You can do it in their favorite colors. If it's if they like sports, you can do their sports team in their colors of tissue paper and make a flower. You can hang these paper flowers with fishing cord, fishing wire, and you can stream them along your bedroom. and decorate your bedroom with it, or around your mirror in your room. There's so much you can do with these these tissue paper flowers. Tissue paper flowers, say that 10 times fast, guys. Woo, tissue paper flower. Okay, so now it looks like that. You got it like that, and see, mine doesn't look all that perfect, but it's gonna be pretty when it's done. So once you have it like this, you're gonna get your pipe cleaner, and you can either use it, once you wrap it, you can wrap it around here kinda tight, and you can either, you'll have a flower, or you can, I'm gonna make one that you can lay on the altar today. So I'm gonna take my pipe cleaner, I'm just gonna cut a little piece off, cause I don't need this whole piece today. I'm just gonna cut maybe an inch. So you have that inch right here, and you're just gonna put it in the middle. Wrap the tissue paper. Okay. And then get in the middle. And then we're gonna start, kind of bring the fan out and start with one piece of tissue paper at a time. I think this is the most time consuming of this simple project, because you gotta do each one individually. There's no way of getting around it. But you're just gonna pull it from the edges and up toward the top. And you're just gonna continue to do piece by piece until it all is separated. I like these two colors, I think they're really pretty.
Yeah, complementary colors.
So I'm just gonna continue to do this. And just kind of be a little gentle, because the tissue paper is really thin. But if you tear a little bit, it's okay. Like I said, you're not gonna notice it once the whole flower is, it comes together. And this is a fun project to do at home too, because we're all at home trying to figure out fun things to do. And it's simple, doesn't cost a lot of money, and it's super fun. So I just started on the other end, but see, it's coming along really good right now.
That's really pretty.
That's pretty.
You got the mix of the colors.
Cool.
I know my daughters, for Mother's Day, when they were in elementary school, they made me a bouquet of tissue paper flowers.
Oh, nice.
And I still have them to this day. It's a cool memory. And it was so simple. It was made with love by my babies.
Those are the best kind of gifts.
The best kind of gifts. The best kind of gifts are the ones you make for your family. They come
My
from
poor mom.
love.
6 kids, she got boxes of school projects. Man, you got more paper in that box.
And there you go, guys. Simple.
That is pretty.
Then you can mix the colors, however colors you want.
That's pretty.
And this is a small one, but like I said, you can make big ones, like the size of this paper plate. You can make them like that too as well, if you use bigger sheets, but the same concept. So
Yeah.
that was our second activity that we have for you guys too. And I really hope you guys have fun with the skulls and the tissue paper flowers. Enjoy them.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
You're welcome.